Hello everyone. In this video, I'll talk about concept of elasticity of demand. Mainly, there are three concepts of elasticity of demand. One, price elasticity of demand. Two, income elasticity of demand. And three, cross elasticity of demand. So let's talk about price elasticity of demand. Price elasticity of demand measures consumers' reaction, consumers' responsiveness to change in price of the product. It is defined as percentage change in quantity demanded of the product per percent change in price of the product. In terms of equations, it can be written as price elasticity of demand is equal to percentage change in quantity demanded upon percentage change in price of the product. For example, suppose price increases by, let's say, 5%, and as a result of price increase, quantity demanded decreases by, let's say, 10%. Hence, percentage change in quantity demanded is equal to minus 10. Why minus 10? Because quantity demanded decreases as a result of increase in price of the product, and percentage change in price will be equal to 5. It is plus 5 because price has increased. So PED will be equal to minus 10, that is percentage change in quantity demanded, upon 5, that is equal to minus 2. So price elasticity of demand in this case is minus 2. Minus simply indicates the inverse relation between price of the product and quantity demanded of the product, and 2 indicates the degree of change in price of the degree of change in quantity demanded due to change in price of the product. 2 indicates if price of the product changes by 1%, then quantity demanded will change by 2%. That is 2 times of change in price in opposite direction. Opposite direction is endorsed by law of demand, according to which if price of a product increases, quantity demanded of that product decreases, and if price of the product decreases, quantity demanded of that product increases. Now coming to the sign of PED. You can see here, let's again assume that percentage change in price is equal to 10, right? And now suppose percentage change in quantity demanded is equal to minus 15, which means price of the product has increased by 10% and quantity demanded of the product has decreased by 15%. So in this case, PED will be equal to minus 15 upon 10, that is equal to 1.5, minus 1.5. Let's take second case. Suppose price of the product decreases by 10%. So percentage change in price is minus 10, and it leads to percentage change in quantity demanded, which is equal to, let's say, 12, which means price of the product has gone down by 10%, due to which quantity demanded has gone up by 12%. So in this case, PED is equal to 12 upon 10, that is minus 1.2. So you may notice in both of these examples, price elasticity of demand turns out to be negative. Whether price increases or decreases, price elasticity of demand is negative, minus, which simply shows there is inverse relation between price of the product and quantity demanded of the product. And this inverse relation between price and quantity demanded is almost universal. Hence, we ignore the sign of PED. When we ignore the sign of PED, we can write like this: PED, absolute value of PED is equal to absolute value of percentage change in quantity demanded upon absolute value of percentage change in price. So in this case, we ignore the sign and we simply measure the absolute value of price elasticity of demand. So in above cases, in this case, ignoring the sign, PED is equal to 1.5, and in second case, absolute value of PED is equal to 1.5. So elasticity is higher in this case because it is 1.5 than second case where PED is 1.2. 1.5 price elasticity of demand simply means the percentage change in quantity demanded will be 1.5 times the percentage change in price of the product. Similarly, 1.2 means percentage change in quantity demanded will be 1.2 times the percentage change in price of the product. And obviously, these changes will happen in opposite direction. That is why there is a minus sign, and which indicates nothing but operation of law of demand. Now coming to degrees or types of price elasticity of demand. There are 5 degrees or 5 types of price elasticity of demand. To start with, let's discuss elastic demand. Again, take numerical example. Suppose price elasticity of demand, obviously absolute value, is greater than 1, it will be known as elastic demand. If price elasticity of demand is greater than 1, it means the demand for that product is elastic. What does it mean? Suppose percentage change in price, absolute percentage change in price is equal to 10, right? And it leads to percentage change in quantity demanded, and suppose it is equal to 112. So in this case, PED is equal to 12 upon 10, that is 1.2. And since it is greater than 1, so in this case demand is elastic, which means the quantity demanded will change at a higher rate than the change in price of the product. That is why it is known as elastic demand. Second type of price elasticity of demand is inelastic demand. Inelastic. In this case, PED is less than 1, and this is known as inelastic demand. It is known as inelastic demand. What does it mean? Again, take numerical example. Suppose percentage change in price is equal to 10, and it leads to percentage change in quantity demanded, which is equal to 7. So in this case, price elasticity of demand will be equal to 7 upon 10, that is 0.7. And you can see it is less than 1. it means the demand for this product is inelastic, which simply means quantity demanded changes at a smaller rate than the change in price of the product. Third type of price elasticity of demand is unitary elastic demand. In this case, price elasticity of demand is equal to 1, and that is why it is known as unitary elastic. Unitary elastic demand. It is known as unitary elastic demand. Taking numerical example, again, suppose percentage change in price is equal to 10 and it leads to percentage change in quantity demanded, which is equal to 10. So in this case, price elasticity of demand is equal to 10 upon 10, that is equal to 1. So unitary elastic demand simply means the rate of change in quantity demanded is exactly equal to rate of change in price of the product. The third type or third degree of price elasticity is known as perfectly elastic demand. In this case, PED is equal to infinity and known as perfectly elastic demand. It is known as perfectly elastic demand. Again, taking numerical example, suppose percentage change in price is equal to 10 and it leads to percentage change in quantity demanded, which is equal to infinity. So in this case, PED will be equal to infinity upon 10, that is equal to infinity. So in these cases, in case of such commodities where demand is perfectly elastic, it means if there is change in price of the product by any percentage, quantity demanded of that product will change infinitely. And finally, fifth type of price elasticity is perfectly inelastic demand. In case of perfectly inelastic demand, PED is equal to 0. That is why it is known as perfectly inelastic demand. Perfectly inelastic demand. Again, take numerical example. Suppose percentage change in price is equal to 10 and it leads to percentage change in quantity demanded, which is equal to 0. So in this case, PED will be equal to 0 upon 10, that is equal to 0. So perfectly inelastic demand means whatever change in price takes place, quantity demanded of this product is not going to change. However, the last two concepts of perfectly elastic and perfectly inelastic demand are theoretical concepts. In real life, these concepts do not exist. So we are left with three concepts, that is elastic demand, inelastic demand, and unitary elastic demand. As far as unitary elastic demand is concerned, it is just by a chance that it may happen. Then what is the most realistic concepts of price elasticity? That is elastic demand and inelastic demand. Elastic demand means quantity demanded will change at a higher percentage than the change in price of the product, and inelastic demand means quantity demanded will change at a smaller rate than the change in price of the product. Elastic demand is also known as relatively elastic demand, and inelastic demand is also known as relatively inelastic demand. Now we come to the factors which influence, which impact price elasticity of demand. The most important factor is availability of substitute. Higher the availability of substitutes for any product, higher the elasticity, higher the price elasticity. Why? Because if substitutes are many, then consumers have choice. If price of product A or product of company A increases, then consumers may switch to products of other companies. They have choice, they have substitutes, they have alternatives. So consumers in this case will be more reactive to change in price. And if substitutes are not available or substitutes are less, then consumers have lesser choices or consumers have no choice. So in these cases, demand is expected to be inelastic. Why? Because consumers do not have many choices or they have no choice. So in such cases, their demand, their reaction, their responsiveness to change in price will be low. Hence, demand will be inelastic. Second important factor is percentage of consumers' budget spent on the good. If consumers spend high proportion of their budget on that particular product, that particular good, then consumers' demand for that product will be more elastic. They will be more reactive to change in price of the product. What is the reason? The reason is simple. If they are spending large portion of their budget on this product, so any change in price of this product will impact their budget drastically. So they are more reactive, more responsive to change in price. If consumers are spending very small portion of their budget on any product, then consumers are likely to be less reactive to change in price of that product, because any change in price of that product is going to leave a smaller impact on their consumer budget. The third important factor is time period of adjustment. Higher the time period available for consumers to adjust their consumption pattern, higher the price elasticity of demand. Meaning thereby, if consumers have longer time to adjust their consumption, then they will be more reactive to change in price of the product because they can adjust. However, if consumers have less time for adjustment, then they shall be less reactive to change in price of the product. Thank you.